we are now going to talk about the character study for our character focus this quarter, which is compassion versus indifference. I'll give you a clue. I'm wearing the costume of the country where it all happened. What is it? This is called the sari. Which country wears the sari? They have all these kinds of jewelry. It starts with the letter I. What? Indonesia? Close. What else? Listen carefully so that you'll know which country our character study went to. Amy Carmichael, Compassion versus Indifference. Our character study was born in a small village of Millisle, County Down, Ireland in December 16, 1867, to David, her dad, and Catherine Carmichael, her mom. She's the eldest of 7 siblings. They were raised by their parents as Christians devoted to the Lord. Her father owns a flour mill, and they were never in need. Their family has to move to Belfast for their mill, but sadly, Amy's father died 2 years after, when she was only 18 years old. She became the right hand of her mother and the tutor or teachers of her siblings. In the mid-1880s, Amy felt compassion for the Sholeys and started a Sunday morning class for them. These are mill workers who wear shawls instead of hats in the church hall. They are outcasts of society and live in slums and have no money to buy hats. This mission grew and grew until they needed a hall that can seat 500 people, and so the Welcome Hall was built. There came a time when Amy got sick, and so she is visiting her friends because of her sickness. She was called to missions when she heard Hudson Taylor, a very popular missionary to China during that time, speak in a convention. Unfortunately, her health stopped her from going to China to be a missionary. She has neuralgia, a disease of the nerves which makes her whole body weak and achy. And often, she ends up in bed for weeks. But this did not stop her, and she went to Japan for 1 year. But then she again got sick and returned home. But her sickness did not stop Amy Carmichael from trying. And in 1895, she arrived in India, never to return to her hometown again. She found God's mission for her. She felt compassion for the young girls in India being given to the temple by their families as sacrifice. These girls, once brought to the temple, are not able to go back to their families. They are taught to dance and were forced to do terrible things in the temple until such a time as they have no use anymore and are killed. Amy started to rescue these temple girls and founded the Donover Fellowship in 1901, south of India. They helped thousands of girls, and after some time, also boys, from the awful life they will have in the Hindu temples. The Donover Fellowship is a Christian organization that works towards the development of children. They teach them, they give them health care or takes care of their health. They also contribute to the community development or the places around them and the conservation of nature. It is founded in 1901 by Amy Carmichael as a home for rescued children. The work of the fellowship has through the years expanded, including hospitals, schools, and many more inside the fellowship. Today, the good work of Ama, or Amy Carmichael, is continued by her great-grandchildren who grew up and of their own free will dedicated their lives to sharing the love of Jesus Christ with others in need and showing compassion to others. In 1931, Amy fell and badly hurt her spine and legs. She could no longer walk and continued the next 20 years of her life on her bed. Here, she was able to continue her work, praying and writing her books that will make dawn of her ministry known to the world. She wrote many books about her suffering and how God kept her going. Her love for Jesus drives her to make the changes the Lord wants for India. Jesus said, "Love as I have loved you." We cannot love too much. This is said by Amy Carmichael. She is passionate in sharing Jesus and continue to show compassion to the children of India. Amy Carmichael showed how much she loved Jesus by saying, "When I consider the cross of Christ, how can anything I do be called a sacrifice?"
Amy Carmichael died in 1951 at the age of 83. She is buried in Donover Fellowship. She was now placed in a coffin, and there is no tombstone on her grave, just as she wanted to be. They place a bird bath where she is buried with the name Amai, which means revered mother, the children's name for Amy. And that is how Amy Carmichael became our character study for this quarter, Compassion versus Indifference.
While Amy tried to reach temple girls, other children were also at risk.
Amy did not only take babies from temples, from all sorts of dangerous situations, like children not wanted in the family because they are illegitimate or they are fifth child, baby girl. They say it's a bad omen. Amy looked after them.
Locally, there was fierce opposition to Amy's crusade. She was accused of using witchcraft to lure children away from their Indian families. There were protests and sometimes violence as more and more children arrived to find shelter and were converted to Christianity at Donover. Boys were also accepted for a time. This is a rare photograph of Amy that we've uncovered. While Amy actively encouraged arranged marriages for her girls when they were old enough, many have come back to live out the remainder of their lives here.
Namaste ji.
नमस्कार
Namaskar, namaskar. मेरा नाम है Mark Tully. My name is Mark Tully.
Oh, Mark.
And I've come to find out all about Amma. Could you tell us some stories?
I go to Amma every day, and she hugs me and kisses me and give me some sweets.
At night, I sit beside her. I have to read John's Gospel, chapter 14. Until I hear her snoring, I read it, and after I stop it. With that snoring, she goes to sleep. John's chapter 14.
Amy is the inspiration of my life because she inspired me in a way, in lot of ways. My young age watched Amy only.
And you live still with her inspiration?
Memories, sweet memories of Amy.
How did Amy Carmichael show compassion? Now talk about it in your class with your homeroom teacher.